What up, y'all? That's right. There go my man John Pierce, baby. Look, right now. What you say? Right now. I love that brother coming on the table talking about that because guess what? Do anything you want to do right now. And today we're going to rock with a young brother and sister who are traveling right now. Today, yesterday, they got plans. But before we going forward today, guess what we're going to do? We're going to give tribute to the female solution because that's why we're here. The female solution. Thank you, Naima Latif, for making this possible. Let's find out what it is, and then we're going to come back and get into this world travel with Yazeed and Robyn. So don't y'all go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the female solution.
Well, all right. Thank y'all for being with me today. We love ASADAH Says, and this week, this month, this is the last week of August that we're going to focus on Get It Black Travelers because our people travel for a lot of different reasons. And today we're doing it a little different. I've interviewed individuals to see what they were experiencing, but baby, no. We're going to look at some Black love today and look at how that travels the world. So without further ado, let me bring on brother Yazeed and sister Robyn. Hey, how are ya?
ASADAH, how you doing?
Good to have y'all. I'm so happy that you agreed to do this and that. Dwayne Powell told me to find you. Yeah. Thank you. We love you, Dwayne. So yes, indeed. I want to deal with a ton today. I got some wonderful pictures about your travels, but let's deal with the origin story. How did you come together? I think that is, I always love to hear origin stories. And yeah. So let's hear yours, baby.
Wow, that's a great story. It's a lot in that story. So
be abbreviated.
We've known each other since we were 16.
Okay.
Life took us through different panels and wavelengths, and we connected on Facebook, like around 2000 and
maybe
19. She was in Chicago hanging out with my cousin, and I was hanging out with my homeboy, and we bumped into each other on the street, Chicago, hanging out, and we became Facebook friends and kind of got a little view into each other's lives. And then 2020, the pandemic hit. I was in Michigan, she was in DC, and a love story began kind of in the pandemic. And so we are here today as a married couple. So we've known each other for a good while. So I think that's the kind of abbreviated story. Yeah. Anything to add there?
Only thing, the fun thing is, so yeah, we connected over Facebook, and obviously during the pandemic, everybody was shut down. So one of the things that we share as a mutual love is music. So remember, they were doing the versus battles during the pandemic. So we started creating our own. So we would pick a topic, and so each week on Friday, we would have our own versus battle. And we would get on, I think we used the Facebook Messenger, and that's how we would do that, and we would listen to music and talk about it, and that kind of again prompted the love that ultimately created the two of us. So yeah, that's a bit of our story.
Look, we was just talking about the pandemic and the things that have evolved out of it. Little did I know. Origin story. Pandemic, being inside, thing, So that I love that. I love the short version. One day we can rock with the long version. But I guess I want to say, because we always be a lot of places with this person, that person, but what was that spark? Not I saw him and I loved him, but what made you know, no, we're gonna rock this combination?
Ooh, it was one of those things for me. It was kind of like, he was so steady and consistent and kind, and the things about him, just like quiet strength. He was this huge kind of like central figure, but he he didn't play it that way. And I love that about him. You know, like he didn't have this random bravado. He was just, you know, who he was. And it just drew me in, and I can continue to see that consistency in him. And it just was like, yeah, it was one of those things like, I need that. And so I just plugged in deeper.
That's dope. You know, when you say those words like consistency, and I think you might have said steady. I'm like, didn't he say he was an Aquarian? How does that translate like that? But I guess we have some of that. And I think what's the same for you, brother? Like, how did you know? Because I think that's, to me, the most important. I feel like women, we could find what we want pretty easy. That's my opinion. Like, we're not really that choosy.
Yeah.
But I feel like brothers got to make a decision like, nah, I want that. So what was that for you?
I mean, just her care and concern. I often say, the pandemic was a real dark moment in a lot of people's lives, and she came at the right time. And so I say this with no hesitation. She saved my life, uh, and kind of gave me rhyme and reason. Say, hey, someone's out here caring for you, concerned about your well-being, and that was it. That was it for me. She showed up in a way that no one has showed up for me in my lifetime, and so I'm incredibly indebted for her for that. So that's why we're here on this couch together.
Look, Hercules. I love that. That's right. That's so beautiful. And I'm glad you all were paying attention to that and paying attention, to these different spirits come across our path all day. And you got to make a decision on which one get to breathe your air, which one get to occupy your brain space. Like, you know what I mean? And the why, so I do love that. Thank you for sharing that. Because we just need to know. Everybody be like, if you didn't find your person yet, you'd be like, what is it? What's gonna happen? So it is good to hear examples of that. Now, you on this show, baby, because I did do a whole month of happy Black marriages, but I didn't know you then, else I'd have had y'all on there. But the reality is that one thing you guys do is you travel together, and that I think is so beautiful, and I have so many great pictures to show. Now, when did that start? Like, we getting ready to travel and do blah. Like, when did that start? How did y'all just did y'all just pick up and go, or did you sit down and have a discussion about let's travel the world? Like, how did that begin?
Yeah, so I love to travel, and I was the one who was kind of the jet setter, what he said, and I was doing it. And so part of it for me was, I was going to continue to do that, and I hoped that he would, wouldn't want to be tardy for the party, and found out that, he didn't have his passport yet. Okay, so our first trip, we decided, we're talking about kind of like, let's try to go somewhere, particularly as you're navigating around the doom of. So we ended up going to Puerto Rico. Was our first trip, right? And so that was something that we put together and planned, had a great time. But that was our first trip. But he was really willing and kind of ready to kind of get out there and travel. And I loved that because, like I said, I was someone who liked to go, and I didn't want to necessarily have to stop that. So it was good that he was willing and able to ride the wave of that too.
Nice. Where is this picture that we're looking at?
That is St. Lucia.
Ah, okay. Yeah. St. Lucia. Nice. I was going to ask the question, who started this? Like, who somebody, but I hear that now. You were the person that was the traveler, and then he better, like you said, pick it on up. When you get your passport, let's go. But yeah. I think that's great, because you do need that. You need the person that, like, you feel like you would navigate, and I've looked at both of your worlds separately on social media, and I did see that element of you in places with people and all of that, and not just you two. So, but I'm glad that now it became a thing. Now it became a thing. Like you said, okay, first trip was Puerto Rico. Now, when was that? How early was that?
That was in the pandemic. So what was that, 21 maybe?
Yeah,
it might have been 2021.
Got you. And y'all started. Okay. Because y'all, so y'all been married for how long?
We've been married 4 years now. Yep. 4 years married, 6 together.
I like it. Okay, cool. So what's so dope about this, because when I did the whole happy marriage thing, some of them were like, we've been together 20 years, or whatever. But people can see y'all doing a lot in 4 years now. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So I need to figure this out. Like, I want to do the math. Wait, how many countries y'all been to? So how many countries have you guys been to so far together?
Ooh, we were going back through our photos, and so I think, and how we categorize our photos, I think we've had like 37, 38 trip experiences.
Okay.
Those are domestic, though, that's London right there.
Okay.
So those are domestic, those are international. So if we find something that we want to do, or just say, hey, let's just go here, we just get up and go, right?
Nice.
Time waits for no one. And that's New York. Went to go see the piano lesson. So, like I said, we do international, we do domestic. So if it's something to do, we're going to go see and do it.
I love it. Look, I got tons of other pictures to show, but I need to let them know. Let me tell y'all what they just told me. Look, they're going to say, I was like, so what y'all got planned for the day? They talking about, oh, we getting ready to go to Detroit. We getting ready to go see Jill Scott. We get ready, it's that, what? Like, y'all literally have things to do. Now, would you say, because I have a question down here that asks about the glue of your relationship. Would you say that the traveling together takes it on another level in terms of your connection to each other, the how you see each other, all the magic that needs to happen in a relationship? Would you say travel plays a role?
Definitely. That's a great question. I never really thought about it, but the way we rock and roll with each other. So the traveling, domestic, international, whatever it is, it's always an experience. So we have, we see each other and enjoy each other in different ways in different places that we go. So it's kind of like, so yes, there is an element of the travel that kind of really continues to ignite, ignite our connection, seeing new things, experiencing new foods, kind of getting lost or having funny experiences, and just being able to draw from those together with somebody that, that you trust, because that's a big piece of it. Because sometimes you go to these different places, like, okay, what are we going to do? And everything isn't scripted in our travel. So that's another thing. Be able to trust the person to be like, you want to do this? Okay, all right. If you rock and I'm rolling, and that's very much how how things end up being with us. So I think there is an element of the travel that kind of ignites or kind of keeps the flame and the fire going.
Yeah, I think what's core to that, when you travel, you like spending time with someone. You love a person, but you really like a person. So, we were talking about this. It's not easy to travel with everybody. And so for us, we like spending time with each other. So I think that at the end of the day, that's really the glue. We just like to be together, and we just like to spend time together and be each other's space. Even though she's a Gemini, she likes her space sometimes. And I'm an Aquarius, and I can be a little moody and pesky. So, but we find a way to kind of make this Gemini thing work, as we like to call it. So shout out to Outcast. So
hey, and I do love it. I said, I had to put your pictures in categories. I was like, yo, they straight having fun. Let me just show this real quick. Look, they straight having fun. What we doing? We eating some pat. Where were y'all right here? Were y'all in New York?
That was a beef patty
and veggie patty
in Brixton.
We were in Brixton.
Ah, okay.
It was cool. It was, as you see from my face, like I'm going in. It was it was amazing.
I said they having so much fun. I said, look at this. What we doing?
That was in the little crab shack in this little hole in the wall right outside Baltimore. So we went in and did like a crab fest. It just had a way good time. It was a crime scene.
It was
that happened with that crab fest right there. So I mean, we just like to have fun, right?
Yeah.
Food, music, art, experiences. That's what life's about. And I said earlier, time waits for no one, and we try not to waste it at all.
I love it. And I mean, when you talk about having fun, look at y'all. Y'all like, what? Let's go. Let's do it. Like you could really see the friendship. And I think that's so important. Like the piece you said about the, liking the person. Because, you got so many things that people deal with. When people think marriage and relationships, I think most times think arguments. And it's like, what you talking about? Because I don't really see a need for that. Not if you got things to do. And I love this traveling together because you do have different lenses and different things are coming off different ways through those lenses. You said something before we got on about travel being a mindset, Robyn. You said that. Can you explain? Just want you to expound on that. What do you mean by that? Travel's a mindset.
People hear travel and they think that it's like these grandiose, wonderful, like, expensive, extravagant things. And it can be that, but it can also be exploring the city that you grew up in. It's like travel is about wonder and exposure and finding joy. And none of that has to necessarily do with the amount of money you spend or where you go. We will explore the area that we live in. Like, what's going on this weekend? Oh, it's a festival. Go and do that. Travel is taking yourself out of your immediate moment and doing something that kind of, makes you happy, that's different, that gives you exposure to something that, that you might not have otherwise done, or even if you would have done, it's something that you want to do or it's fun. So it really takes you out of yourself, and it doesn't have to be, again, this big grandiose thing. It can, but I think people miss the quiet and the small wonder of like, smaller things.
I love that. Go ahead, brother. Were you going to say something? I don't want to cover you because I'm like, ooh.
No,
ooh.
I think she hit it right on the head. These small experiences, a museum, or let's go on a mural run to kind of take pictures of mural. And so it's what you do. And the thing is just about travel, is just being active and getting out there and just exploring. This is a big world, and you should try to be able to kind of capture and see as much as you can while you've got time here on this earth.
Yeah, y'all rocking it, because I'm gonna tell you that part about taking your now and doing something with that now, like taking the moment and then adding those things to it. That's a whole different jam. Like, it's so good to think about travel in that way, because like sometimes I'll be in my house 2 and 3 days without going outside. I'll be working, but still I'll be like, you ain't gonna get no something in 3 days or whatever. Not really, but I'm just saying. But I love you guys' perspective on that. Like, adding these things to the overall experience. That would literally, if I was married and at the end of the day, that make you lay back down and go, wow, what was that? Like, and really recap on what occurred. Now, do you find that you guys experience these places similarly, or you always think a thing, or one thinks one thing over the other that the other didn't notice when you're traveling? Do you find that, or is everything sort of like synchronicity? Oh my God, I thought that too. Or do you find differences? Like, you find things in the other person that you didn't necessarily see?
Yeah, I think for us, it's kind of organic. And like you said, we don't necessarily say we have to go with the entire script. This is what we're going to do at this time. And then on the next day, we got to do it this time. We often just kind of like just go. There might be some planned things that we do there, but we don't necessarily let it kind of like dictate about how we kind of move and experience that we're at right there. So we find some things about each other she's a big theater buff. And so always something's around the theater piece that we might have to find out. She knows I'm a shoe guy. So we always find a sneaker store somewhere in whatever country or place that we're in. And we're also music buffs. So it always finds herself in a music shop somewhere, a record store somewhere, a record store in Brixton, a record store in Lisboa in Portugal. So we find these things that, we have our own things, but we also kind of come together. And one of the things that we kind of come together is really around music. Yeah.
Nice.
And I think another piece of that is like when we're places, like we observe different things. So sometimes I guess we're walking around or in dinner, he might say, did you notice X, Y, and Z? And I might be like, no. He's like, well, yeah. And he'll kind of break something down. I'm like, okay. Or I might say, when we were here, did you realize that these things were happening? He's like, no, not really. Or sometimes like, yeah, I got that too. So to the point, that you're making, like sometimes the way he experiences a space and the things that might resonate with him or what he might see or pick up on might not be something that I necessarily gravitate towards initially, but when he brings it to my attention, and oh, okay. So in that way, then I'm experiencing something that he's sharing with me, and I'm like, okay. Or if I didn't see it, then I'm kind of thinking about it. So I'm kind of looking to see, like, okay, let me see if I can pay attention to that. So we do sometimes see different things just based on the frame of reference, but a lot of times we'll bring it back together and kind of like at dinner, or like when we're in our room at night, kind of talking about it. We bring some different things to bear.
Kind of a funny thing, if I can. So we had set out to do something together. We were at DR, and we set out that we were going to swim with the stingrays and the sharks.
Okay.
So
no, it was not we, it was he.
Right? But she initially said she was going to do it. So we get on this board and we go way deep out in the Caribbean. Okay. And it comes time, she was like, nah, I'm not doing that. So I'm saying, okay, good. So she stayed on the boat, and I got off, and it was the most exhilarating, but the most terrifying thing I've ever did. I will never have to do it again. But she was there, kind of like rooting me on and everything like that. So, but yeah, so stuff like that, right? We said we're going to do it together, but she was like, I don't want to do this. It's all good. I'll take the hit for both of us, though. Right?
That's dope.
Yeah. I appreciated that hit, because I was definitely not able to do that.
Yeah.
That's the bomb. And that's what I wanted to hear. Like the fact that, like I said, those two different lenses, y'all are in the same place, but you're experiencing it in different ways. And the fact that you can articulate it and you could take it to me would build. At the end of the day, I would just be like, yo, just kind of reflecting on it all, and really just like it would make me more interested in the other person. Mm-hmm. Like you just feel I would feel so full, because I think that I'm a Scientologist, and we talk about, L. Ron Hubbard talks about love, and he said love is a compound emotion, usually of sympathy and admiration. Oh, my poor baby. Oh, my, usually. But he said what you really want to liken yourself towards is admiration. Like he said, people you love, you usually want to see caged, but people you admire, you want to see set free. And I think that, when you're looking at each other and like the admiration, I think that's what keeps it going, the admiration of the other person. But I also see your travel as sort of like the canvas, like looking at your wife in the background of, Puerto Rico, looking at your husband in the background of the UK. Like it's a whole, almost like looking at how do they act in these different environments, watching him jump in the water, bye, to go, bye boo, see you later. Like that's a whole different thing. When he come back, I'm like, Hercules, I love you even more. It's like to me that it seems like it would be very entertaining without being like slapstick entertaining. No, how did you move and act in the environment? So, I mean, I got so many good pictures I want to look at and ask about. You bring up art, and I watch your vibe with art. So I want to just show a little bit to the audience so that you could tell us, like, where y'all at right here?
We're in Cartagena. Yeah, that's Cartagena.
Got you. And then talk a little bit about
so it was there's a lot of street art. Cartagena, that was our honeymoon, actually. And so we did a walking tour. And it's a company that it's a country that has a lot of folks that look like us. So we were amazed at the art that reflected. I mean, look, they got the little afros in the past. Yes. So we went through and were able to see so many dope murals. But not just dope because of just the art, but because like you see yourself, or people that or like I see my great nephews and these little kids. It was just amazing. So we always try to find street art when we go places, because we just love to see like how people interpret things from an artistic space. That's something that we love doing. But yeah, this is Cartagena.
Nice. And Cartagena, there's our train. Yeah, we love it.
Urban living.
We love it. Yeah. But now Cartagena, in case others don't know, is in where? It's where? Colombia. Okay, just so y'all know, some of us ain't going off our block. We don't be even knowing downtown. So yeah, I just want people to know that. And I saw this. I was like, oh, what they know about Frida. Now, where is this? Is this at home?
No, that's Miami. We were in Miami, and actually we did a stopover in Miami before we went to Cartagena. So we try to sometimes put like multiple trips in like one experience, right?
That's dope.
Spend a few days, and in Miami before we hopped over to Cartagena.
And that was our Airbnb. That was actually a mural inside of our Airbnb. Yeah.
Don't little Frida Kahlo. What they know about that? Like, what y'all know about Frida Kahlo? What y'all doing? And then I said, oh, where they at right here? Wait a minute. Let me look at this, baby. Where y'all at with my babies, my Southern babies, Andre 3000? Where we are?
You know, that's our second favorite equipment next to us, right? So we're in Atlanta, in Little 5 Points, where they've got a mural of Big Boy and Andre. So
we had to do it. We went there. We actually have a matching tattoo that we got created. That is the mashup between Gemini and Aquarius. So of course, you know, we said we got to go take a picture and see this. So that's in Atlanta.
Ah, that's dope. I love it. I said, oh, they doing that art thing very much. And so we got a comment. Let me see who coming on saying what. Oh, who is this? Oh my God. Hey, maximizing the flight. So Julie Stanton is my homie, y'all. She was on my podcast last week, and she's a world traveler. I actually took kids to Africa with her back in the 90s, but she said maximizing the flight. Julie, you know I would have you in the studio talking about what you want to say about that. Put it in the chat, and we'll be bringing that on in a minute. But yeah, people are going to be commenting and, you know, watching you. And like I said, this is just inspirational when you watch two people rocking together, and y'all not. I hate when I look in the car. Let me say what you're not. Y'all not arguing, and y'all not bringing that energy. I hate when I'm in a car and I turn and I look in the car and I see a couple and they look like they're not talking, or they look like they frustrated with each other. And I hate that, because where is the synchronicity? I feel like relationships can be bliss, you know, and that needs to come forth. All right, look, Julie said, a trip and a trip. Okay, that's right. A trip and a trip. Go ahead. What that mean when you did that? Talk about that a little bit.
Well, because there are some times where, depending on where you go, you know, another trip can be a short trip within that. So, you know, we've been thinking a lot about that. You know, looking to do some island hopping, or where one of our goals is next year, hopefully, fingers, eyes, and toes crossed, is to make it to the continent. And so we want to be able to maximize on getting to places that are in close proximity to us, because we are, you know, across the pond, or, you know, something like that. So it is definitely on our radar to kind of work smarter and not harder in the travel space to get the max for the minimum if you can.
I love that. And what I'm hearing, I'm not hearing a barrier of finance. Now, I don't think you mad, you know, stupid wealthy Kardashian wealthy, but I'm not hearing no barrier in terms of money being a barrier from traveling. So talk a little bit about that. How are you able to go all around? I'm not really saying how much do you make. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, how are you making this go right so that you're able to travel and not have to worry about that?
I think one of the things that we do, we're very disciplined and we plan. So, you know, when we're thinking about a trip, hey, we want to do this, we might plan out a year, 15 months. Nice. So, you know, there's some things that we can do spur of the moment that we do all the time. Yeah. But if we wanted to go, like we went to Madrid, Portugal, we went to Spain and Portugal for my 50th last year. And so we begin to kind of plan that maybe like a year out. And so just be very disciplined, planning out and knowing when you have to cut it off. So right now we're on a no spend September. A few pair of sneakers showed up one week in the house. I was like, I need to slow it down, right? And so being honest with yourself and just trying to tuck away and squirrel away those things and asking yourself, okay, I've got enough now. I don't need anything else. And so that's how we kind of move around that space. But wealthy by no stretch of the imagination, but incredibly blessed and grateful for what we've got.
Nice. And you make it happen. It's like I mentioned, travel is not always the super extravagant thing. And we look and we find, you know, deals on things, whether it's, you know, like hotels, like, okay, you know, this is the, you know, we scour websites and try to find ways to kind of get a little more for a little less. And we've been fortunate, you know, sometimes people are skeptical about, you know, some of those things, but hey, here's the thing. And with us, so if we found a situation and it ended up being something random, we would roll with it together and we would laugh about it, you know, and that kind of thing. But, you know, no, not wealthy, but intentional, And knowing that we want to do these things together, we make some sacrifices, and we make it happen.
That's dope. Let me tell you, I want to talk about that a little bit more, because in contrast to some previous features of brothers and sisters who travel, look, Julie was like, sometime I would buy a one-way ticket to Germany and then figure out how to get back, right? And so there was this element of carefree, I'ma just go type of thing. But I do love to hear this whole, we're gonna plan a year ahead of time so that y'all know, and you can apply that discipline. We're gonna talk a little bit more about that after the commercial break. You guys, we gotta go to a quick commercial break, but don't go nowhere, because we coming back and we're gonna travel vicariously some more through YAZEED and Robyn. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back after these messages. Yay. I'm loving this. Great day. It's your girl ASADAH, here to introduce a new female solution show called ASADAH Says. That's right. Every month we're going to talk about everything I am, from cryptocurrency and financial security to good health and parenting strategies. Come on and talk with me every Tuesday morning from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And let's do that thing the way ASADAH says it should be done. See you then. Peace, right here on the Female Solution.
What if you could have bought $1 of Bitcoin in 2009 when it was worth less than $0.01, just a fraction of a penny? That means $1 could have bought you over 1,000 Bitcoin. Fast forward to March 2026. With Bitcoin trading around $70,000 to $80,000, that same $1 could have grown to tens of millions. Now imagine discovering Amazon in 1997, Apple in 1980, or Facebook in 2004, right at the beginning, before the world caught on. History shows us those who recognize change early and take time to understand it are often the ones best positioned for the future. What if the next big shift is already happening right now, and most people still don't see it? Welcome to Breaking Free. Breaking Free is more than a book. It's a movement. Do you know money is changing? Do you know what digital money is? What crypto is? For just $5.99, you receive the Breaking Free ebook and audiobook. And right now, Breaking Free also gifts you crypto for free, giving you access to unlock the app, training, a reward payment system, and more. Inside members receive access to learning resources like AI, crypto, wellness, and practical tools to help you learn, grow, and move forward with confidence. Help educate, motivate, and elevate others while earning crypto rewards. No middleman, no delayed payments, no centralized control. Just automated crypto rewards. Just by helping 2 people break free with us, our community grows and more opportunities can open for everyone. If you're ready to learn, and if you want to understand where money is heading, Breaking Free could be exactly what you've been looking for. Speak to the person who sent you this video and book a presentation to learn more. We'll see you on the other side of Breaking Free.
Yes, indeed. Y'all know I rock the crypto. And so, yes, I break free literally with people all over the world all the time. Talk about travel. I'll be traveling right through this computer, Papua New Guinea, Australia, you name it. But anyway, it's a big something that's here in the world. The money is changing, period, point blank. I don't care what you think. You are going to have to create a shift. The key is, will you know how to shift? So that's what I help with. Go, you see my number down there. Y'all contact me. But that's another story. What we're doing today is we are rocking with a brother and sister that travel with their love. That's the song I created. But we're going to bring them back. Brother YAZEED and sister Robyn. Thank you so much again for being on today, you guys. And we having a ball. I'm loving all these stories. Literally, we have comments that have come up. We're going to deal with those first, and then I'm going to come back to where we were before we left. There's an inquiry. She said, your skin looks fabulous. What are you eating wherever you go? What's the most unusual meal you've ever tried in your travels?
Ooh. So one of the things that's funny about eating where we go, like we consider ourselves to be foodies. We enjoy finding good food wherever we go. There is a show on the Food Network called Diners, Dives, and Drives, where Guy Fieri goes around the country and finds these diners, dives, and drive-in restaurants. And so we take notes. So that's one of the things that we do, like places that we end up wanting to travel, we'll take notes. And we've been to a few of the places. But I would say the flaming saltfish that we had in
Portugal.
So we went to this. So we're mostly pescatarian. He'll eat chicken. I don't. I eat seafood. So we let the guy, he was the owner, and he came by and he was asking us, first time in, of course, yes, we're traveling here, and so we just asked him. So he said, basically he curated the meal. So we had like appetizers and all this, and so we had this whole fish that was encrusted in salt. It was the weirdest looking thing, and they came to the table and like set it on fire, which was also weird. Okay. And then so they set it on fire, and then like the salt started to kind of like crystallize and melted away, and they moved it off, and it revealed the most delicate, delicious tasting fish. Because we're thinking it's gonna be super salty, but it wasn't. It was just the way that it was cooked. And it was amazing. So that was probably the most unusual. I mean, I know people go places and they eat scorpions and all this. We haven't gotten there yet. I don't know how adventurous we might be when we take it there. But but that was the most unusual and very delicious.
Cool. I love it. See, look, there you go. And I love that you both have that experience, that you savor. It's nothing like y'all are like really stacking up memories.
Yeah.
That's the bomb. We got another comment. Let me go in here and see. Oh, yes. Higher Learning Network said nothing like a good travel partner. How do you handle it when one partner tried? I'm sorry, my eyes. When one partner is tired or doesn't feel good, or is there a change of plans, tips, suggestions?
Yeah, I think a perfect example. So we were in Athens and we were in Greece in May. And so we long flight from New York to Athens. So we get there. She's not feeling the best, right? Feeling awful. So we get to our Airbnb in Athens, and we had some things planned for that evening. She was like, I just don't feel good. I said, well, all good. So, she laid down and rested. I made sure she was okay. I got out and kind of walked around and got food and brought it back and everything like that. So it's just being considerate and thoughtful and kind. And if you don't have it, you don't have it. And so I think we just try to always be plugged in about how each person is feeling. And if we've got to shift and pivot, we've got to shift and pivot because we've got more additional days there.
Yeah.
That's the important, being considerate. And I think, there are people, how they might be wired, they be mad. We have all these plans and now you're not feeling good. And, didn't make me feel bad. Just like, hey, all right, you're not feeling well. And it's kind of like a notion of going with the flow. And I think that also is a part of how we rock. It's like, this is what we plan, but if something happens, don't be so tied to it. And one of the things is, if you got a good partner, that person kind of is the yin to your yang, which for me, like I run hot and things will get me like out, that's that Gemini in me. And he balances that. He's like, he brings it down. So when you got somebody who is able to see how you're wired and can kind of counter that with their energy, it makes it we both can't run hot. We be getting arrested internationally. Okay? But one of us has to be that. So it's just listening, being considerate, and just kind of being able to go with the flow. Because things do change. Sometimes it's beyond your control.
That's right. Got you. Now, this is what I want to ask, and I don't even remember what we were talking about prior, but I'll get back to it. I want to deal with the fact that it is evident when y'all travel, I'm looking at your images, that it is some Black love going on. Now, do you feel like you see other examples of Black love like yours, or is it something that's standing out that people are like, ooh, look at them, which I don't think. But talk about, like, how do you think you impact other people in your environment when you travel and they see that? Because it ain't often that you see that level of camaraderie and love amongst us, brothers and sisters. So I'm gonna show some images and y'all can kind of talk about what we looking at. Look at this love. Oh, go ahead. Where were y'all here?
Well, that was my 50th in St. Lucia.
Nice.
And so St. Lucia, amazing. That resort was amazing. The area we were in was amazing. So that was my 50th. So I think, and we do often get people who will come up and say things to us like, you all are so cute, or we see you all doing this, and keep it up. We just are being authentically ourselves, and sometimes we don't pay attention, but people are paying attention.
Yes.
And we can be plugged in. Sometimes we see other couples, but we've had people to comment and say that they see something like resonating from us as they watch us interact.
Nice. I knew it, because I'm like, look at this love. Where y'all at right here?
We're in Santorini there. We were in Santorini in May. So when we went to Greece in May, we 10 days in Greece, 4 days in Athens, 3 days in Mykonos, and 3 days in Santorini. So kind of did, the mainland and did some island hopping right there. So we're in Santorini right there. In Thea, I think we're in Thea right there.
Yeah.
Nice. Let me see. I got some more love. Look, some more love. Yeah, baby, more love. Where were y'all at?
That's Panama. And that was kind of like one of the spur of the moment things. The summer was ending, was like, hey, can we get one last trip in for the summer? Saw a deal, like, hey, we've never been to Panama. It was a short flight from Miami. We flew to Miami, spent a day or two in Miami, and then bopped over to Panama. And so had a wonderful, wonderful time in Panama.
Nice. Now, one of the things that I noticed, and I'm going to come back, is when you all take these pictures, many times, and this could just be a happenstance, YAZEED, you in the foreground and Robyn in the background, like, or whatever. And maybe that's something you don't even think about, but is there a thing? Because there's a thing with women. I feel like when you got the right brother, submitting is fabulous. You don't care about that. You like him being the king. Boo, boo, boo. You ain't gotta be the one. You ain't gotta be the one all in the front and say my name first and all of that. And when I look at your picture sometime, and I look at, it's sort of like YAZEED's in the front and you're in the back doing a thing. Is that a thing, or am I reading into that too much? But because I'm just curious about that.
I think it just naturally happens. It's funny. I do notice that, but to me, sometimes I just say, I got his back. That's just me. Like, I'm always going to have this man's back. As the young folks say, I don't play about him. So, so I'm going to always have his back, be there supporting, and let him do his thing. And so it just kind of happens that way. But I see it when I look through our pictures, that's kind of like, my thing. I'm right there. But yeah, I'm always have his back.
It's interesting, because I would never thought about that. Some of the times, because I have the longer arms, right? So it's just a better reach for sometimes to get a picture, right? Because she's shorter than I am. But I think, I would be remiss to say, she makes me a better me. And there's no shame. There's a great deal of pride to being able to say that I'm a better me because of her. And maybe that's what that picture kind of saying, like, hey, go out there. I'm pushing you. I'm back here and supporting you. And it's one of the reasons why, like, again, why I say why we're on this couch together, because she does that for me. I always say she's my superpower. And I have no bones to say that, though. I have no shame in saying that.
Nice. Where were you guys here?
We were in Toledo in Spain.
Nice.
And Toledo's a wonderful story, and we didn't know about that either. It was just kind of like an experience. And Toledo's, maybe couple hours from Madrid, and just a beautiful city where Christians and Muslims and Jews lived together for a long time in harmony and peace. And as we know, individuals kind of come in and disrupt the whole chaos right there. It was just really good to kind of be there in Toledo. And one of the funny stories about Toledo, they had a Motown cafe.
Go ahead, Toledo.
All of Motown and serving Motown fare. And so
food.
Wow.
The world would be very boring without Black people. I would just say.
You already know this.
Right.
Now, let them know for sure. Now, where were you guys here?
We are in Porto in Portugal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Got you. But yeah, so y'all see what I'm talking about. I'm not just making this up. The sister like, what's up? I'm in the back. And again, this becomes you know, you don't know how you're being experienced per se, right? And I love that. He like, I just got longer arms. Look, they be calling, look, they be calling me the pterodactyl when I be trying to take a selfie. It's like right here.
Right.
Somebody with longer arms be like, give me that daggone camera so they can, hold it back. But yeah, again, people live vicariously through what they're seeing. And what I love is that you don't look like you're trying to compete with his space. Like you said, I got this brother back, and he in the front, and like you said, I never thought of it like that. But it's good to hear how we view you and how you are actually just experiencing life and impacting us. And I just love that. We got another comment here. Let me see what we saying up in here. Look, the sister said, "Oh my God, look at that dress. Girlfriend, you were rocking that dress mahogany style." That's like that's the picture when y'all were in St. Lucia. I know that's right for your 50th, letting it be known. Then we got another sister, A. Deborah, saying, being in the back is a form of cuddling. And better watch out. Over there, Deborah.
Yeah.
Giving out the secrets now. Watch out. And then we got another comment. Soul food in Italy. Who knew? Another excellent excuse for shoe shopping. Thanks for sharing. That's right. People listening to your experiences, because I think it's interesting. Let me tell you, when did go to Scotland, I loved shoe shopping in Scotland. It was the bomb. I mean, them shoes, because back in the day, we used to wear them big shoes anyway, like from Europe. We were all black and all that. We weren't goth. But when Europe, you really got dope leather shoes. Like it was a thing. So I love that, you get to experience different things. And when I took my kids to Africa, they was making your shoes right there in front of you. Shut up. And a matching belt and a matching bag. Like, when you travel and you see how people flip it with regards to clothing, and they can make it. Talk about being able to be in charge. I just think that's so strong. Now I got me some more pictures that I want to inquire about. Let me see what we dealing with here. What we looking at? Where y'all at over here?
That was Sedona.
That was Sedona.
Oh no,
that's Arizona.
Right, Sedona, Arizona.
And just absolutely just a magical place.
Yeah.
Wow. History.
Energetically, there's like this a place that you can go if you're into, like, you do yoga, meditation. It's just it's very serene, but it was so beautiful. So beautiful.
I love that.
To your partner, to your friend who popped in on the chat, that's a trip within a trip. So we were out in the bay, hanging out in the bay. We tend to go to the bay at the end of the year. That's kind of like our end of the year place. Okay. And we were like, hey, what can we do while we're out here in the bay? And we hopped the flight and went to Arizona, flew into Phoenix, rented a car in Phoenix, and drove up to Sedona from there. So try to always maximize the time. If we're somewhere close and there's things to see, we're going to try to incorporate that as part of our travels and our experience and adventures.
I love that. What that passport look like? What y'all passport look? Look, is it stamped up?
Yeah, it's so funny. We get frustrated because some places won't stamp them when you go through. They don't always get the guaranteed stamps the way you used to do back in the day. I was like, I want my stamp.
Yes, I want my stamp. Now, where were you here?
We were in Paris, France. Yeah.
Nice. Now y'all taking this down, right? Y'all hearing all these places. They not talking about 5 places. I done heard about 15 places already. Let me find out where else y'all been. Let me see this here. Where were you here?
That is in Pacifica, which is probably like a few hours from Oakland. So,
okay.
Again, another trip in a trip. We were out in the Bay again one other year, and we drove down and found like this little cute Airbnb that's way in the top of the hills of Pacifica, and actually was just kind of hanging out and got to see the whales. Spent the morning watching the whales, and it was just absolutely just magical, just beautiful.
Not a morning person here, but I did get up and we were able to see the whale. It was just it was something that you had to see to experience. I mean, I could tell you about it, but it was definitely magical. But Pacifica was a good trip.
Now let me do this. I got to come up close on you for this. I cannot help but hear a book. What's up? Do you feel like, and the answer is yes to this, because I'm telling you yes. Do you feel like you have enough to put this in a book? I feel like this is something that would interest me. I don't know if it's a coffee table book. I don't know if it's it's just something, a guide, lover's guide to Black traveling, Black lover's guide to traveling, or something. Have you ever thought about something?
It's so funny because you are probably like we've heard this before. People will say, like, from seeing our pictures, like, you all need to, or we would love to see. And, we've talked about it. And so maybe this is one of those things they call confirmation. Like, like you keep hearing something that's like you're being pushed to do it. I wouldn't be opposed. And it will be out of fun, particularly because, we'd be just sharing our story and reliving and maybe giving some people, something that they can see, like, hey, that's, it's aspirational, because again, I don't think that we're doing anything revolutionary. We make it happen in a way that makes sense to us. And so maybe somebody else can take some tips and understand that it's possible for them. So yeah, we've heard this soundbite before.
Look, watch me come up in the that's right. Get that book done. Look, because I'm gonna tell you what I'm seeing. I'm seeing like the chapters, food, and then I'm seeing these pictures of you with the food and and then the description of what it was, where it was, blah blah blah, da da da. Then I see a section money, and you talking about like, how are you affording this? We paid to go here. We paid. Like, I'm just saying. I can see something that would be very interesting with these images, so that people know. I love the concept of travel as a mindset. These experiences, you just want to add them. Now, I kind of want to ask, what do you think? And you kind of said this before, but I'm going to ask it in this way. What is the purpose? Like, when you finish, not so much the purpose, but the outcome. What's the outcome of all of this? Because you're not finished traveling, but what's the outcome of all of this traveling you've done? How has it impacted this union?
I think, and so I think we said this earlier, it's just spending time with each other. I mean, I like this person, and I think she likes me. So it just creates those opportunities and moments just for us to spend time together, and obviously see new things, explore new things, wonder and find joy. And at the end of the day, we just try to find the blackest joy that we can find. And that's how we walk through life right there. It's all about finding the blackest joy that we can find.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me wait, girl, don't say nothing. I got to write this down. He said, find the blackest joy that you could find. Oh, I'm writing that down. That's so good. Go ahead, girl.
And I think, just to add this one piece, what the takeaway is like, we are evolving as we go through life, and these experiences shape us, and we get to experience things, internationally, domestically, and we're becoming different people, and we get to experience that. So who he's becoming and who I'm becoming, obviously, you said we've known each other since we were 16 years old, and we're not the same people that we were then. And, if, we won't be the same people 5 years down the line. So exploring and getting to see who we become. I think that's also a big piece of it for me. Like, seeing the evolution of who we are individually and how that impacts us as a couple.
That's the bomb. And I'm going to tell y'all watching. See, the thing about it is, we're not dealing with silver spoon in the mouth people who, they were raised traveling. Yeah. No, they told me we from Gary, Indiana. How about that? Right?
Very
Shout
humble,
out to Gary, Indiana.
Very humble beginning.
Shout out, right? But from that, there's no like stuck viewpoint, like we gotta live like this and we can't do this. I want to say to the viewers, couple wise, add this component. I love this component, like this going places. And like you said, YAZEED, I like her. Now I like her. I think she like me. I think that's so dope, to just know this your friend. Because I got a question about friends, but you could have friends, but the reality is this friendship right here. Like, you really don't have to look. That's really what it's about. It ain't about, I think sometimes relationships, y'all make it about sex, this, do you love me? What? Where we going? And what we doing? And how we going to experience life together? And like I said, you're stacking up memories. Y'all got to put it in a book. I'm not even asking you no more. I'm kind of telling you.
We received that.
I'm kind of telling you right now because I'm like, what? Like, I'm not going to deal with this. Now, where were you guys here?
We were in Santa Cruz. So again, another trip within a trip.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, we make a yearly pilgrimage to the Bay at the end of the year. We've been doing that for since we've been together.
Yeah.
And we find little short jaunts that we can do. And so hey, let's drive down to Santa Cruz. It's probably about a few hours away from Oakland and San Leandro, and spend a day in Santa Cruz on the beach. Got good food, went to a couple record stores, saw some art, did all those things right there.
Yeah. Nice, no doubt. Y'all see this, right? Get the examples. Look, I have put a little Prince here. What's up with this? Where were y'all with the Prince?
We were in Chicago, and that was they had the Prince immersive experience. And I'm a huge, I mean, he's my favorite Gemini's favorite Gemini, and I'm my favorite Gemini. So it's all about Prince. So we had a chance to go there. Beautiful experience. One of those things where he knows that about me, and he loves Prince's music too, but he knows that that's my jam. So
I like
he allows me to have that experience. So that was in Chicago for the Prince immersive experience.
Nice. Let me see what else we got. Where were you here, darlings?
That's BK all day. So
that's real.
Yeah, it's Brooklyn. So we went to the Brooklyn Museum.
Brooklyn Museum of Art. They were having the exhibit of Alicia Keys and Swiss Beats, their art. And so we went there and Spike Lee. Yeah. Yes. And we went there to go see that and had to take a picture in front of the Yo. So
dope. Okay, great. Let me see what else I got. Where were you? What are we dealing with? Oh, this is New York. This is New York, right?
Yep, that's New York. That was the week that we went to see Othello. We popped over there to see Denzel and Othello and Jake Gyllenhaal. So, again, went there for that, but found time to kind of go and hang out and record shop and shoes and food. And so that's on our way. And that's in
that was our Brixton. That was our beef patty.
Yeah,
that was Brixton. I put that back up just because I didn't mean to put it back up, but it's okay. We love to see you eating them beef patties and veggie patties. Get it on in. We got it. I love that this experience is authentic. I love that it's not stopping. I'm getting that y'all are going to continue this. We got like 2 minutes. Give us some travel advice that people need to know that they don't think about, or just about, like you said, that mindset and what they need to do to prepare going forward in travel.
It's simple for me. It's 2 words. Just do it. Yeah, don't create a barrier. Find a way to do it, and just do it. And I think sometimes people think, well, we can't do this, or it's never the right time, and it'll never be the right time. You're waiting for that time, and that time will pass. So don't wait, just do it.
Yeah, and so related to do it is, and do it means kind of thinking outside of the box. Like, don't box yourself in terms of what's possible. It can be small. Start small, and once you see doing something is actually happening, then you get motivation and you see that it's possible, and you're able to do more, and you see more. So don't live inside your mind. Let the trip or the idea come out. And like you said, do it, and don't get stuck on like how, because it'll come. Sometimes you gotta build as you're climbing, as they say.
And I guess do it how you want to do it.
That's true. That's true.
Let other people's experience be your proxy for your experience.
That's huge.
Do what makes you happy. If it's a $10,000 trip, do it. If it's $1,000 trip, do it. Do what makes you happy, and don't let anybody else's experience influence you about how you should do something.
Absolutely.
Look, drop the mic on that. Y'all hear that? Drop the mic. You guys, thank you so much for being here today. This has been so great. And I think, so inspiring for people to see something to enhance a relationship between a brother and a sister, and how you just make it more than just going to work and coming home and being bored. It's all these other things, and then experiencing and developing your friendship together. So thank y'all so much for being here today. Yay, I'm so happy. And for you guys watching, thank you for being here and witnessing their flyness. Let's go and live like them and be happy in it. I'll see y'all next Tuesday. It's a secret what I'm gonna focus on, but y'all just be back for what ASADAH says next Tuesday morning. We out. Peace. Thank you guys.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, Ngiyabonga. Senegal, Jaref. Kenya, Asante. Israel, Toda. Pakistan, Shukriya. Afghanistan, Tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.